Ayo, we made this. Ammo 7 did it again.
Welcome to another episode of Big Ego Media. I've got another special guest called by the name of
RareTalks.
RareTalks, is that where you go? That's it, yeah?
Ads, RareTalks, however you want to mention me, yeah.
Alright, say no more. So, how we're going to start it with is how we start all of our interviews. It's get to know the person. So let us know where you're from, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Tulse, so I'm originally from Tulse, so yeah, I'm a Tulsean. Everyone knows me, I'm a Tulsean.
So, growing up, how was it living in sort of Tulse Hill?
Tulse is just a gang place, like it's just bare gang violence. Anyone knows Tulse knows it's gang, innit? Like it's just, everybody grows up in the same areas, but this area, when I was younger anyway, it was just gang. So everyone was just in gangs, it was just a gang, that was it.
Is it a thing that you joined the gang when you were younger?
Yeah, we was all in the gang. I think everyone was in the gang when I was younger. I feel like it was just normal. Every area had their own little gangs, and Tulse wasn't like no different to any other area. Only difference is we're in the middle of nowhere. So like Tulse was like next to Brixton, near Streatham, near Norwood, near Croydon, near everything. So, but a lot of people don't know about it. You've got the upper side of Tulse and then you've got lower side of Tulse. So it's like Tulse was a lit area. Just a lot of people don't know about it. That's why as mad as it sounds, I started my podcast. And my podcast was originally about my ends. That's what I actually started my podcast for. I started it talking about Tulse and all the positive things that people are doing in Tulse. So yeah, big up Tulse, man. SW2, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, so when you kind of grew up, how was your household? Did you live with both your parents?
Yeah, my mum and dad been married for like 30 something years. You know what I'm saying?
Still together now?
Yeah, my mum and dad still together tonight. I was with my mum and dad yesterday. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. So yeah, I grew up in like a two-parent household. I would say more me, like, I wouldn't say I came from a broken family. I would say that I came from more of like a product of my environment. So like I'm rolling with everyone, so we're just all friends. But everyone else's families are kind of mad, but I'm good. I can still go home that's why more time, I would disappear for a little time. Certain men would be on the roads because they get kicked out of school. I was still in school, I finished my school. Imagine that. A lot of people might not even believe this, but I actually finished school. I done my GCSEs, all of that. Went college, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't think I came from that, you know what I'm saying?
Did you do well at school?
I was one of the smart kids, but then the problem was when you come from a certain area and you're smart, your smartness gets overlooked because you start to think you're too smart and do crime. So when you're meant to be doing GCSEs and that, I'm just dotting and shotting food and doing bad stuff, licking man down and bunking school to go and butt people up and do mad stuff and bare gang stuff in school. So I'm bringing my road life into school, but my school's a good school, so there's not really a lot of bad boys. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So it was mad. But yeah, I done well. I think I done well. My GCSEs was alright. And I got like a B for maths. I got a C for English. I was doing alright still. Science, I flopped. I don't know. I think I got a U or something.
How was your sort of parents' stance on you? Were they strict parents? Were they more sort of relaxed?
Yeah, my parents are strict. I ain't gonna lie. I think that's what made me more of a rebel still. Like, my dad used to lock me in the yard. Like, we ain't coming out. Like, I had to like climb out of windows and stuff. Like, front doors all locked. And my friends would knock for me or throw like stones at my window, like, and then I would be like, yeah, you man, I'm coming out. Wait 1 second. I climb through the window, run around the back, and I'd be by the blocks with the man them. So it was like, my parents were like strict, but not strict, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What's your family background?
Like, I'm Jamaican still, born and bred. I'm born in Jamaica. I came when I was younger.
Okay, so getting into schools, the area you're kind of involved in is getting involved into sort of that gang criminal lifestyle. What was the first time where you kind of indulged in that lifestyle? I
was like 13, 14. It's crazy because like, I can remember it like it's yesterday, like, because Brockwell Park is right next to Tulse. So like they used to have like mad festivals and stuff next to the park. So people used to come out of the park and then walk into Tulse, like high trees, like where the shops are, Joe's. Anyone knows Joe's. So they'd walk in there, but there's a corner there like where there's a St. Martin's Community Centre now, but before, man used to just commit bare crime on that strip. That strip was just like known as like the criminal strip. Like if we saw you lacking there, like you could be anybody, you're gonna get robbed and beaten up probably. And that's where it kind of started for me. Like we were just beating people up for the fun of it. Like we were just mashing people up. There was no even reason behind our violence. We're just trying to test out our punches so you can knock out the person. From our crime was kind of different. We were just violent kids. Like I couldn't even give you an explanation of why I was even doing it. It was just like normal behavior to us.
Did any of your behaviours escalate to going into prison?
So obviously if you do life of crime, obviously it catches up eventually, innit? So yeah, we was just doing bare crime, just cutting a long story short, you know what I'm saying? So I was doing bare crime, all of us. And then my brethren went in jail for robbery. I never forget this because he was the first one. So everyone like, I kind of fell back like raw, like, and he was my dog, like there, like, big up my brother there, like, he was my dog. So I was like raw, like, and he went in jail like 15, 16, like. So like, that was kind of a shock for us because we was like all together as like a little gangs, and one of us went in jail and he got like a mad sentence, like 4 or 3, and we was all shocked, like, whoa. So I kind of fell back and said, let me just do my dotting thing and do what I've got to do and dot. I'm not really on the crime and the robbery thing because they're giving out sentences. I don't think you remember this. You must remember this, Bobby, yeah? When everyone was doing phone robberies, they start saying, if you do a phone robbery, you're getting a 5. Do you remember that time where they was just giving a stiff 5 for phone robberies? So I was like, bro, it's not worth it. A dead 55-10 for 5 years, it doesn't make sense. So I was like, I'm just going back to the dotting board and I'm just picking up food, and the older's dropping me food and I'm just dotting. But eventually, you don't dot until eventually people start buying things, and then you start to think you're invincible, and then bam, guess what happens? You're in prison.
How long did you go?
So I went prison first. The first time I went prison for like 9 months on some serious charge, like GBH, threats to kill, bare charge, criminal damages, like bare charges. And then I bust case in 9 months because one of the witnesses was lying. They all lied about their story. And I bust case. But then when I bust case, I thought I was invincible. So when I come out, I thought I was invincible. Like I bust case, the man them were all loving me. This is the time now when blood set and all that. I think it's like 2006. Blood set and all that set, and Crip set and Piff set and Diff set and Jip set. So everyone's in this gang thing with bandanas. I don't think that era was crazy.
What flag was you guys?
Grey bandana. Okay. Tulse was grey bandana. So we was the grey bandana thing. So like we were grey gang, T-block, whatever. And when I come out, this is what I've come out to. So I've come out and I've seen all of this stuff. So I'm like, bro, what's going on? But I'm part of the man now. So everyone's doing little grime, whatever. And then I didn't even last long, bro. I'll be real with you. I came out of jail after them 9 months. And then like 4 weeks on road, and I got nicked again. And I went straight back to jail for 6 months.
What was the conversation with your parents like? You're coming from a strict Jamaican kind of background and you're going into prison. Was you the first in your family to go to prison, or did you have other siblings who kind of, you was following their angle? My big bro went in jail, but he went in jail for an idiot thing, like 2-3 months, and he came out. So like my mum had brothers that went in jail, so it was like, it wasn't really a thing. Like prison wasn't really like, there's bare family members. I got bare uncles that's in jail, that done jail. So it was like, it was nothing to my family. But obviously my mum's disappointed in me because she had big hopes in me. So for like, she was kind of sad, if I'm honest. Like I saw my mum's sadness like when she went jail. If I'm being honest, like that's one of the reasons what kind of like deterred me from ever wanting to go out to prison. If I'm being honest, like because my mum got high blood pressure and all that stuff, and then she was sick, and I'm in jail. I can't do nothing. I just felt bad for my mum, innit? If I'm being honest. And at that time as well, because there was an era, I mean, you guys being from Tulse and you're being kind of in a gang and repping Grey Gang, was there a particular people that you guys were against, or was it just, you know, something like that Peckham versus Brixton and this, was it in Tulse, was it like just you guys, or was you guys kind of beefing other ends?
It wasn't really like that. Tulse was like a neutral era. Like if we had beef, we would just sort it out and that's it, done. It's not really like beef like that. The youngers from my era down, they had beef with areas, like they had beef with them people. But as for like us, man, like our era, it wasn't really like that, if I'm honest. Like, and it's funny now because all the ends that man's ends is beefing, we were like close brethren with. Yeah. So like, I don't know, I hear youths from Tulsa saying, oh, I got beef with youths from Gypset. I'm like, Gypset? Them guys are my brothers. I can big up like 10 Gypset man right now that I love with all my heart. Like it was like, if I see them now, it's pure love. I would never even think we would ever have beef. Then I see man from like Brixton Hill and they'll be like, Tulsa got beef with Brixton. I'm like, I ain't got beef with no. All the oldest from Brixton Hill I love. Like everyone, I'm not going to start saying people's names because they'll just be like, why are you saying my name for? Like, no. But bare man know, like we wasn't like that. I could go any ends back in the day and it was all safe. For us, it's Tulsilians. We was more like Tulsilians. We had our little gang, was doing our little thing and robbing and mashing man up, but we're still united with everyone else. So like we would roll out with other people. That makes sense? So it wasn't really like that. We didn't really have beef like that.
So there's also a period in sort of that whole era when a lot of people from Brixton, especially Lambeth, turned from traditionally Christianity into Islam. What was your kind of transition Was it that same period?
Yeah, so basically what happened with me is I turned Muslim when I was 9. My story is a little bit different. I turned Muslim when I was 9 and 10 or something. My mum says 9, but I think it was like 10 or 11. I remember still, I was young. But then when everybody was turned Muslim, I said I was Muslim, but I was on the roads. I'm talking about a road youth. So I remember one day one girl buoyed me. I'll never forget this day because I felt so embarrassed. She's like, "You're not a real Muslim." I was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "What do Muslims say?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And me and her are arguing on the block. But this is because man's so into the road life, man's all forgot about all that stuff. Does it make sense? Like man's forgot man's religion in it. But yeah, there was a time where everyone was saying everybody was converted to Islam, but I was already a Muslim. So if at that moment, everyone's like, "Well, what are you?" And I'm like, "I'm Muslim already," to demand them. So it wasn't really a thing for me. I wasn't really converted because I was already converted from like 10 years old.
I mean, I want to touch on something that you said, which is going to lead me to my later questions there. You said that there's a woman who badded you up. Was she Muslim?
No, it's just some girl from the block. Like, you know, like when you, like, Tulse was mad. Like, we had girls that were gang members and like proper gang members. Probably everyone probably did, but the girls from Tulse that were gang members were gang. So there was a girl, and one day, like, I think her brother, may Allah rest his soul and give him Jannah. Her brother's dead now, but basically he turned Muslim. He was one of the oldest. So she must have said, "Well, you're not a real Muslim because my brother's a Muslim," and tried to get onto me. Then I was like, "What?" But I never forget this day because I was getting mad with her, like, because she was just getting me mad that day, and she was just like, "You're not a real Muslim."
Or was she trying to embarrass you in front of
embarrass me in front of the man then, because obviously, man's on the roads, innit? Man's not really doing anything Islamic. Man's just on the roads, smoking weed, licking people down, doing all stupid stuff. Like, what do you do? And her brother's proper practicing at this time. He's praying, like, wearing a fold, going to the mosque. You know what I'm saying? So she's asking me bare questions, and at that time I didn't really have a lot of knowledge, if I'm being totally honest. I was just a Muslim from young because I just took my shahada because I just thought Islam's the truth and I'm not going to believe that Jesus is God. That's what I said. I just can't believe that anymore.
I mean, how at such a young age did you find Islam? Like,
so
9 years old, 10 years
So my uncle's a Muslim, innit? So he was giving me dawah from young, and not only that, but I had like a black teacher, and she kind of told me to study 3 names, innit? She sent me away to read 3 books. She said, "Go study. You're a smart." This is what the teacher said. "You're a very smart young man. But your problem in life, is that you don't know your history." She said, "Go study Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Marcus Garvey." So I went to read Martin Luther King's book when I was like 8 years old. It's mad because I used to read books a lot. I used to go to the library, I had a library pass. I used to love reading books. Even to now, if you come to my house, like, I got a whole library in my yard. So like, I read the book about Martin Luther King. I didn't know nothing about slavery and all that and how black people got oppressed. So when I read that book, I was like, what? But one message, I know it's going to sound mad, the only message I really got from that book was that Martin Luther King said, "If you slap me on the left cheek, then I'll let you slap my right cheek." And I just wasn't, that wasn't resonating with me still, because I was just a bad youth. So all that slapped me in the face thing, I went with it. Then I read Malcolm X's one, and he was like, "If you slap me on my left cheek, I'm blowing your head off." And I said, "Yo, I resonate with this stuff." He was talking about affirmative action. I was like, "Yeah, I like this guy." And then when he said he was Muslim, all that, obviously Nation of Islam is different, but when he said he's Muslim and all that, I liked it. So I said, yeah. That was like my introduction, like how I first like learned about a little bit about Islam.
Yeah. So I mean, at which point then did you kind of forsake the roads? When did the roads become long? Like, yeah, this road thing's long now. I'm not on it no more. How old was you?
I was like, that was my last sentence, if I'm honest with you. My last sentence, I got a 4-2 for robbery, and I licked down one youth that was a shotter, and he just snitched. And I just thought the game is dirty, fam. Like there's meant to be. I thought that this is young me. I thought that everybody lived the same code that I lived. So it's a dirty game. If you get robbed, you get robbed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you get done dirty, you get done dirty. If I get caught slipping by the ops, my head get bust, I get stabbed up. Cool, I deserved it. We ride out whatever, but I got what I deserved. But the problem was. That sentence there, I started to like read about Islam more, start reading more books. I stopped smoking weed, I stopped linking gal, and then I started to look at my mum a little differently because I started to see that if I'm keeping it real with you, Bobs, like she was the only person that read that sentence with me. So it's like I felt like I didn't just do the sentence, my mum done it with me. So I felt bad for her. I looked at her eyes one day and she's just like, "I'm tired, son." And I don't know, like the moment she said that to me, you know there's different stages in your sentence. You go for the sentence where you don't care, you go for one where you don't write nobody. At the end, I started to become really reflective that I need to make sure that I do not come to this place. Because I see older men in there talking about You know them old guys in jail that be like, yeah, I've been here 15 times, it's nothing, man. You got a baby since. I'm like, brother, I don't want to ever be here. Like, I don't want to be you in 20 years talking about I've been here when I was younger. Man ain't got time for that. Man's got ambitions. Man's got goals. What am I doing out here? So I looked at my mum and I said, you know what, mum? I can't do this anymore. So when I came out of jail, I said, yeah, I'm not even doing this. I'm picking a different road. And I started practicing Islam. And then, yeah, man, that just took me away from that still because I wasn't really involved. Obviously, man still had beef and still had other things, but man was on this, man was just on my deen still.
So it's brought you forward now, you kind of trying to live the legitimate life, and then it comes to a point that where you got this podcast that I've started seeing that's popping up every now and then. When did the idea of the podcast actually come to fruition? So
2020 lockdown. Yeah, I was in my house, bro.
That's when I started.
Yeah. I was in my house, bro, and I said, you see me, I'm an active youth. I have to be active. I have to be doing something. If I'm not doing anything, I feel like, what's the point of me living my life? So I said, you know what? I started to see, yeah, and I don't think everyone remembers this, yeah, and all you big men out there need to fix up, yeah. There was a time when every time I went on Instagram, I heard 2 grown men saying, I'll punch you in the face, I'll punch you in the face, you wanna fight, let's have a fight. And I was just thinking, bruv, what is going on? I didn't get what was going on. There was a time when everybody was just talking about punching each other in the face, and I was thinking people was losing their minds. So I said, you know what? Look how big men we are, yeah? Like I was cussing myself, like we're all big men, we're talking about fighting each other. And then the younger generation see us, they're gonna think even worse, so let's stab each other. So I'm saying, you know what, let me start like doing the podcast and talking about like the gang life, where man came from. That's what my podcast initially started on. I was talking about how I got, same thing like you, how I got recruited into a gang. At the exact same thing that you done, but I spoke on how the elders manipulated me to sell drugs for them. But I didn't know they manipulated me to sell drugs. I just thought they were trying to make me make money. But really, now looking back, they were just manipulating me and making me shop bare food for them. And I was an idiot for that, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's how my podcast initially started. Then I said, you know what? Let me get everyone from my ends, Tulse, because you know what? Nobody ever like, if you was asking right now, how many people have you interviewed from Tulse, Bobby?
I think you're the first.
Thank you very much. Tulse is not really out there like that, but Tulse is the most litest place on the planet. And there's so many stories there, like from that I know of, that I can't even say on camera, that it's just crazy. Like there's so many crazy stories. So I wanted to bring everyone from Tulse and give them a platform. My whole area, I wanted to give them a platform. That's how I initially started. So if you go back to my earliest videos, of man like Juice, Obla, Barry, Fend, like bare people just from my ends that I know. Certain people didn't want to get on camera because obviously you know how they think set, but a lot of man came on. So that's what my podcast started as, just talking about the ends and how it affected us and where we're at now and how to positively make a change.
And from that, how did the kind of subject matter kind of change? And I say this to say, because I've never watched maybe a full episode of your podcast, but from what you put out, there's a lot going at women and baby mums, and talk us through this.
So you have to understand the journey and understand where everything's transpired from. And I said this when I first entered the room, and I said it again to you. I said, the problem that we have nowadays in society is that masculinity has become very rare. So when you see a man talking about women in a certain sense, it looks as if he's attacking women. But in hindsight, he's doing the same thing that women have been doing for years. His only difference is that he's on a platform where he can speak. And now people don't like it because he's bringing up the stuff that women are doing that are kind of bad minds. Women stopping men from seeing their children and being toxic is a problem. It's an epidemic in our society. Forget COVID, bro. The biggest epidemic right now is men not being able to get access to their children. Because those children are going to be the same children in the next 15 years that grow up and talk about dip back in the neck. Because their heart is cold, bro. There's no heart there.
Are you going through that yourself, or you can't see any children?
A lot of men have gone through it. Not just me, but if I show you my DMs right now, there's millions of men have been through it. And I've known family members that have been through it. The only thing is that nobody ever talks about it. And I've never seen someone talk about it once and then continuously talk about it. So I've never seen someone do that. So in my mind, I'm like, wait a second, do people even care about their men? I call them the forgotten fathers. The men that want to see their children, but women's run off with their children. Look, who helps them, Bobby? Who supports them? Give me 2 organizations that support them.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Give me one place where they can talk about their problems and the suffering that they're going through, because it turns into mental health, you know. If a man stopped from seeing his child, how does his mental health be affected, or is just normal? There's no effect to his mental health. There is, but no one talks about it. Okay, my platform starts talking about it. He's a misogynist. They just want to label you with quick terminologies just to put you in a box because they don't like what you're saying.
I hear you, but sometimes I see some of the narrative you put out there, and I can understand some of it, but some of it, I don't know if it's clickbait or you actually mean it, because we've all seen how Kevin Samuel was doing that thing, and got Tate, I forgot his full name, Tate guy doing it. So I'm thinking, is he running on that, or is it that he's, because like we saw in the comments yesterday, a lot of people saying like, well, is it every day go at the women? So is it your angle now, just like, you know what, I'm just trying to be a voice for the forgotten men? Is that the complete angle that you're saying?
Do you know what's sad about that, yeah? I do a lot of episodes about a lot of topics. I was talking about colorism with an Asian lady.
Yeah.
People don't notice that. My last episode, just to come out on YouTube today, is cryptocurrency a myth? Now, this is just the truth. 9 out of 10 people will not watch the episode. Why? Because it doesn't resonate with them. Let me start talking about women. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he talks about women every day. I do not care what you think in your mind. If you do not properly watch my thing, and then not only that, but listen, I'm the realist, I can do whatever I like. I can speak about whatever I like, and I'm allowed to do whatever I like. We're meant to be in a country that follows a democracy, meant to be. And I say meant to because I don't believe in it, but we're meant to be in a country where it's freedom of speech, which it doesn't harm people. If I'm talking about the misandry of women, and let's pull it out there, the misandry of women, misandry is the opposite to misogynist. But we never ever hear men call women misogynists. Yeah, but there's a lot of women that go on platforms and cuss men. Men ain't shit, black men can't do this, men are in the UK are broke. Okay, UK women are broke. Oh my gosh, I can't believe RareTalks. I can't believe it. You know, cancel him. Get out of here. I'll speak and do whatever I like because you can do the same thing. Why is it that we've become so emasculated as men that when we speak, we feel fear that women are going to say something against us? That is, to me, the weakest of men in the world, that we're scared of women, bro. There's never been in the history of men, in the last 30 years, men have ever been scared to say what they want against women. But it came to a period where we're at it right now. So when men do speak, when you do hear men like Kevin Samuel speaking, and you hear people like Andrew Tate speaking, it sounds crazy because it's rare. Because majority of men are scared. And you know what, I'll be real with you, I don't blame some of these people, like these other podcasters, for being scared, because they probably got a big platform, they got a lot of women that follow them, they want to appease to women. My platform is the only platform online that we do not appease to women. We will say how it is, when it is, what it is. We'll call it out for what it is. Straight up. And I don't see the problem with that. I literally don't see the problem with that.
Do you ever fear to get treated like Andrew Tate, where he's actually they've taken him all off socials, he's not allowed to be on there? Do you ever think that it can get to that extent where there'll be so much complaints about what you do that you get cancelled from the back of that?
I generally believe that if we are people that say that we believe in people having their own opinions, men having their own opinions, because the problem that we have nowadays is that they expect everything from men, but when men speak, they want to cancel us. So I'll give you an example. Men do everything for the society. If you really want to go there, men do so much for the society. So much men put their life on the line every single day to make sure the society is running effectively. But as soon as a man says, I have an opinion that goes against what you say, that most men actually resonate, because you might look like I get a lot of hateful comments, but that's only from a certain geographical people. I get more love than hate. That's the truth. If I show you my DMs right now, men are saying I saved their lives. Do you know how much men in my... Bro, you can check it. Men said I've saved their lives. Because they said I was going through a traumatic time of not seeing my child, and because of your platform, I feel like there's somebody speaking for us. Other times, women are like, you know what, I really love your content because you're actually exposing these bad women. Because if the shoe don't fit, why would you get upset? If I see someone talking on your platform, Bobby, and it's not relatable, I'm not gonna get upset with it. If it relates to me, I might get triggered. Only thing that can trigger you is if something that's relatable. So I generally think if that's where we're going, then let me go down that road. I always said this, and I say this. I don't remember who said. I think it was Tupac. He said, "I'd rather die like a man than live like a coward." Straight. I'd rather die like I'd rather go out on my sword than be a coward and sit and change my content and be like these other content creators that are scared to speak their mind. I'm not these guys. I've always been a brave heart my whole life. Why am I scared now?
I mean, one of the clips that kind of went viral that I reposted yesterday, which kind of prompted me to say, actually, let me get Rare on here and actually kind of get what his whole angle is, right? Was your co-host, him saying that, yeah, this girl was coming to he was going to visit the girl, gave her 3 days notice, he's come there, and she's not even got any food for him. What are your views on that?
Bro, if I go to a girl's house and she gives me tap water from a dirty cup, let me just say this, yeah? That whole thing there is over. It's done. Like, you can't chat to me ever again. Keep whatever you was about to give me. I don't want it. Because in my mind, you're a tramp. That's it. I'm just saying basic etiquettes of any human being going to another human being's house is that they're a guest. If you're a guest in my house, I'm going to give you hospitality. Hospitality in my house is different to everyone else's. You're getting food, you're getting drinks, you're getting clean water from a clean cup, you're getting the 400. And even after you eat your food, I'll ask you, do you want tea and biscuits? Straight British thing, bro. Do you want a tea and biscuit? Do you want a mint tea? Do you want a Moroccan mint tea? I'm going to give you that. That's standard. If you came to my house, I'm saying, Bobby, you came to my house right now, I'm feeding you. Right now, if we left here and we said, go to my house, I'm feeding you food.
But so, it's also human nature, because I know if I'm going to visit someone's house, right, I'll be like, do you want me to bring anything? Is that not something that you would think
Not really, because I've never asked someone to bring something to my house. If you did out of the goodness of your heart, on you, but I've never begged anyone for nothing.
No, it's not about you begging, just that it's polite. Like if let's say you invite me to your house, I'm like, yo, do you want me to bring any drinks? Do you want me to bring any? Just because you don't know the burden of what that person's going through, so you might be just trying to help them out a little bit.
Cool. Then let's communicate that then. But don't let me get there and there's nothing there, because that means your communication skills are poor.
No, but think about it. Her communication might be poor because she doesn't maybe feel. She might be embarrassed, but she ain't got nothing.
Then she's a tramp then. Why are you even linking man for D, bro? You're a tramp. Bruv, I'm being real. Like, why are people seeking sexual love, yeah, or trying to get sex when their money's not right? I don't get it. Go get your bag, bro.
Does sex only equate to having money?
Bro, I believe as a man, you should not be thinking about sex if you're broke, straight. I genuinely believe that. Because you know what? No, check this shit. It's for a man though. I'm saying, because if your bag's not right, how can you give her the best sex? Because your mind's always going to be fuzzled and thinking, oh, money problems. And she might be like, oh, I want to buy something from the shop. You'll be like, you might be hesitant and harring because you ain't got the money in the bank account to even order Uber Eats. So it's a peak situation for a lot of men. Oh, I want to go out to this restaurant. He's like, oh yeah, I'll take you there next week. Next week, why? Because he's waiting for his gyro, he's waiting for his universal credits to drop. That's mad, bro. That's mad. I don't even think you should. I think you should always get once your bag's right, women are gonna come anyway naturally. So I always encourage young men to focus more about getting your money and getting your life on track than go and get vagina. What does that mean, bro?
But we're living in a world where jobs are hard to come by. There's a recession coming. People will be out of jobs. So you're saying basically those who are out of work, not celibacy, basically. Yeah, why not? Sometimes practice to be celibate, man. Bro, it's not always about, broke guys going around having lots of sex, bro. It doesn't even make sense. I'm saying mentally, it's not a good look on your mind, bro. Because when your money's not right, I don't know for everyone else, but my mind's not right. So, and that's what would lead man to do dumb things, Bobby, like dumb crimes. You know what I'm saying? Then you get bagged and you're in jail. Then you're like, oh, it's the best place for me. Nah, bro. Get your bag right. And for women that have not got their money right and they just want to have sex, bro, just look after your children and done it, bro. Serious. And yeah, we talk about single mothers because a lot of times some women choose to be single mothers, meaning that they stop access to the father. So now they've put themselves as a single mother. And why don't I ever hear people talk about that? I mean, there's another clip which I gave you a red card for. I said, nah, Rare's getting a red card for this. I don't know where the woman was from. I think she's from South Africa or something like that. I see a bit of a smirk there because you know what's coming, right? All right. She said her father left them when they were young. And you didn't
hear the whole. This is the funny thing. Nobody hears the whole story.
But you posted that part.
Yeah, right? Yeah, cool, yeah. Because that's yeah.
Alright, cool. But I'm saying from that part when she's saying her father left them as kids and fucked off and wasn't in their life. You said, well, it's your mum's fault for sleeping with him in the first place.
Yeah, because, cool, no, let me break this down. Okay. She said my mum's a religious woman. Yeah. I said, all right, if your mum's such a religious woman, why didn't she marry your father before she had sex with him and she had sex with him? Don't throw out the religiously and then your mum's doing the opposite. I don't care what anyone says. If you say older women are religious, I'm talking about the older generation, their thing was that if they were religious women, they never had sex before marriage. So when the children were born, they were born inside of a marriage. If he ducks off in the marriage, I understand. But if you claim that your mum was a righteous woman, but she's having sex with a man outside of marriage, that's where my point was. So it was yes.
So you still blame her for the father leaving, the mother is to blame.
Bro, do you know the full story?
No, tell me, give me.
That's what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. No one knows the true story except for the mum and the man. But 9 out of 10 times, men don't want to leave. Women cause men to leave by the things that they do to us. And that's something that's never spoken about. And that's what upsets my heart.
Things like what?
Like women who do mad stuff, bro. Like, you tried to rape me, or you abused your children, or this man's an abuser, or she's lying to the community, or saying all weird stuff, bro. And then a man will be like, bro, like if you're doing all of that, Lord knows what you're gonna do with my kids. Like I never forget, yeah. This is just coming from Jamaican families, yeah. I never forget, yeah. In the family there was a girl that was lying about something, yeah. But she was lying about man had sex with her and she didn't want to have sex, yeah. She wasn't saying it was rape, but she said he had sex, he didn't want to have sex with her, yeah. And then like everyone come together. I remember the older women come together and they said, this is what I heard the older women say, if she can lie upon that, watch out when you have your youth, because she might say you abuse your youth and you're a child molester. And I was like, whoa, damn, how did it go from there to there? But them older women, they knew there's some wrath of some women that are so cruel, they do anything. So why is a man going to see his children if a woman's saying that he's a child molester or he's doing something to the child and he's not doing anything to the child, but she's just saying that because she doesn't like him anymore? Why?
But I guess that's an extreme case.
It's not an extreme case, it's normal.
No. Okay, but I'm saying it's a little bit extreme. You're saying it's normal, but the point I was making was that you're saying most women make a man leave the home. Right? That's someone making up a lie because of something that's happened. But what else would make a man leave a house? You're married to the woman, you got kids. Why would a woman make her leave? Got to do extra chores, to bring more money in? Why would you leave? If you're in an environment where there's no lies being told, right? Because some men, let's be honest, some men just step out. They step out because they want to step out. And why would you leave? Why would a woman make a man leave? That's a statement you made.
Women do it all the time. It's just something that's never reported. Women will be cheating on a man, telling him to get out of the house, you ain't shit, abusing him mentally. A lot of men go through a mental abuse and then they think to save their mental sanity, I have to leave this woman. And by leaving this woman, I might have to leave the children as well. That's what the man might think. As sad as it might sound, and as crazy as that might sound, until you've gone through the situation and seen what the woman's done to you, getting arrested every week. I know a young boy right now called Little S. Yeah, he's getting arrested every time he goes to see his son. Every single time he goes to see his son, he's getting arrested. He's been arrested like 4 times just for seeing his child. What advice would you give him, Bobby? Should he go to prison for his child?
What are the circumstances why he's been arrested?
Because she's calling feds. She doesn't want to see his youth.
Okay, has he gone through the courts?
He hasn't got money to go through the courts. Courts is not. It's not free.
Courts is not free. Cool. I hear that.
It's about 15, 14 grand.
Okay, so is the thing where the family can't get involved?
She doesn't want nothing to do with his family. She said his mum's a piece of shit. Cost his mum.
Okay. Like I said, you probably a bit more privy to me. I know if that was me, I would find every legal matter or legal way to try and see my children because, and there's dialogue. There's also, okay, she doesn't want anything to do, doesn't want him to see the child. But for me personally, I've got 2 kids, I've got 2 daughters, and I couldn't imagine me be in a position where I can't see my children, so I can't really relate to that. But if that was the case, I will do whatever it takes legally to see my child. Because if I'm getting arrested every single time, it don't look good on me, right? But like I said, I'm not privy to kind of answer his particular situation. But I'm gonna have a wild theory here, right? And it might be completely wrong, right? I understand what you're talking about in regards to, like, you want to be the voice for the women and you want to kind of, for the men, and you want to kind of stand, and I get that, because you're right. Men can't freely talk. We live in a PC world now where you have to be politically correct. You can't really say certain things, right? But something kind of resonated with something you said earlier, right? You said the time when you became a Muslim, right? There was a girl that tried to badge you up in front of everyone. I'm no therapist or nothing, right? I'm looking at, could there be a link to where you had that experience was so uncomfortable for you that it made you now feel a way about certain women, or am I just reaching here?
Yeah, that's a big reach.
Big reach.
That was to do with Islam. That was just the only thing that she made me do is want to know more about Islam and become a better Muslim. That was nothing to do with badding up. Gal used to bad us up all the time. I was in a gang with a gal that was bad, bro. They were demons, bro. And one gal will try boxing my face once. It was peak, bro. Man's had, it's crazy. Like where man's from, the gal that man was around were proper gangster gal. I don't think I've ever met gal that more gangster than the gal in Tulse. I'm just keeping it real. So it's man's been through wars and all that with gal and seen gal do mad stuff and all that. But that wasn't the case. That was the least of man's concerns. Man's more thinking about, the reason why man's built a platform is because I made a comment once on one video and it went viral about toxic baby mothers stopping men from seeing their children. And I did not know how, and this is me being real, if you go to the video on my TikTok and you see the views and you see the comments, bro, there's hundreds of men suffering. Muslim men, Christian men, white men, black men, Indian men, foreign men. And I was so hurt that there was so much men going through this. So I created something called a support group, a men's support group, because I needed a place where men can have, this is why I said it's hard to get rid of people that they don't fear the fear of the blamers, because they know the goodness which they're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I created a support group for men, and I couldn't believe how much men are actually suffering in silence, bro. Like they're proper suffering in silence, and the stuff they've gone through, it's never been documented. Because if I asked you right now, tell me a platform where men have a voice to speak up on their experiences of what women have done to them, you wouldn't be able to tell me. I'm 100% sure you wouldn't be able to tell me. Tell me one platform right now where men have a voice to speak up about the problems that they've gone through, the emotional abuse and physical abuse. Because maybe you don't even know this. A lot of men have suffered physical abuse from women. But why is that not spoken about? Because men's lives don't matter. What men are not cared about. They're just good for one thing and then just throw them away. The same thing women are saying in the comment section on your video. Or all you brought was dick. So what hurt me about that video, yeah, was that no one actually clocked the actual message. No one actually clocked the message. They was like, oh, but you're only a dick appointment. So I was saying women would rather give a man pussy, forgive my language, they'd rather be intimate with a man, but then they wouldn't want to feed him food. For me, feeding food to you is easier than actually getting a sexual connection with you. So someone would rather give it away than cook you food. Oh, you don't get that because that's husband material. So your pom-pom's not husband material. So this is where my brain was, I'm frying inside of my head. You would give me something that's so intimate to you, but you wouldn't give me food. Isn't food smaller than what you're giving me?
On that point, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, what is the kind of future of the platform then? Because like, what do you want to sort of grow from it, and what do you want to kind of achieve from this? And would the narrative kind of change away from? Well, you said the other day you spoke about crypto is coming out, people might not watch it.
We're about empowering men.
Yeah.
And I think this is where a lot of people misunderstand my platform. We're empowering men. Yeah. 2022 is the year that we destroy simps and we bring back masculinity to the mandem. I believe that the internet has made a lot of men become weak to the point where they feel fear of what they want to say. I heard a man say on TikTok, and I put the video on my page, oh, I can't even tell girls to listen to Andrew Tate because they don't want to chat to me more. Bro, if you're in fear, bro, I've never been in fear of anything in my life, like as in like human being, yeah? Meaning that if I'm listening to this tune, I'll listen to this tune. I don't care if my younger's got beef with this person. I like his music. I don't care about your beef. That's between you lot. I'm not involved. I'm a grown man. The hell am I? If I like something, I like something. But the problem that we have nowadays is men have become so scared and so feared. They're shaking in their boots to say a word. They will see women do madness. Women will be like, yeah, I slept with 20 men this week. They'll be like, oh yeah, she done it. But let a man come on a platform where he's got 20 baby mothers, he's a piece of this, he's a that. Women don't feel fear and speak in their minds, but men have felt fear and speak in their minds. Now, on a deeper side to that, Bobby Kasanga, you always see this girl, yeah, and I just shout her name out, I don't really care. This girl called Cheyenne Reynolds or something, she done an interview with, she does the dating show, yeah, when she brings men on dates, yeah. She's gone on a date with over 30 men and nobody's actually clocked. This girl's kind of nasty. Why does she keep taking men on dates? Oh, it's just for entertainment purposes. But there's nothing wrong with that.
But is that real dates or is it kind of just
I don't know.
Interviews?
Some men look like they're on there to really get the bang bang boom. Certain man I've seen on there, I've seen their faces and they look like they're interested. I don't know if they know it's a show. Some men, I don't know if they know it or not. But it looks like to me, man want to do it.
But so, that's not on her though, is it? Because she's got a platform. It's a bit like the chicken shop date girl.
No, but that's a comedy. That's a comedy sketch. We all know that. That's blatant comedy sketch. That's not really even serious. Like she's not even serious.
But you think Cheyenne is actually?
But she's asking real questions though. Because look at the question she asks. She says, "Do you think men should be more in touch with their feelings and be able to express themselves?" Okay, no problem. We've built a platform where we express ourselves as men. Oh, you're misogynist. Why are you talking about women all the time? So either you want men to be express themselves, or you want men to not express themselves. Because all women say is men don't express themselves enough and they keep too much of their feelings inside of how they feel. Me and my co-host, we actually speak about how we feel. Guess what? These guys are misogynists. They don't love women. They hate women. Then I hate other men, weak men in the comment section. They're gay. You'd never say it to a man's face.
Here you're referring to, I guess, what Lippy had said.
But there's lots of men that say things like that. But I'm saying, to man's face, you wouldn't see man in the street and be like, you're gay. You would never do that. And because you know what?
I don't.
No, but I'm saying, Bobby, you don't know how I'm taking that. I'm from the streets, bro. I might be a good guy now, bro, but I'm from the streets, bro. You couldn't see me in the street and say you're gay, bro. I'll punch off your face. Like, any man. Just out of, if a man came up to you and said you're gay, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, well, I don't mind. Like, man's trying to disrespect you. For what? For making comments. For having an opinion that goes against theirs. At least engage in the dialogue of what we're actually talking about. Don't just make blanket statements to a man. I think that's disrespectful, personally. That's me anyway. I don't play that game anyway. That's me.
Wait, what are your views on sort of Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels?
Great guys.
Yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about them. I have nothing bad to say about successful men. I love to see men successful. I like to see you successful, Bobby, and I rate your platform. How about that? I love Big Ego. Whenever I see you pop up on my thing, I love it. I love all your interviews. Everything you're doing, I think it's great and positive, and I think you're going in a great direction. I actually rate you as a man and say that you're a great person. The way you treat your family, the way you treat your kids, the way you're with your missus. I love all of it, bro. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't hate on other successful men. I actually want to see men do successful. I don't hate on people. I find that it's a feminine emotion to hate on a man because he's doing well in life. Kevin Samuels is a top man. He was a successful black man that was helping us as a community, whether you liked it or not. Hard truths, but he did make sense in what the majority of the things that he was saying. And if anyone could challenge that, then make videos and challenge it. But you can't. People just, all they result to is he's gay, he's a this, and this is what they say about you. When they can't engage with your content, the first thing they do is they try to just bring up lies and slander about you. Oh yeah, he's a this, he's a that. Okay, no problem. I'm all of that. What now?
I hear that. Any final words? Any final words for the people listening, people watching, your supporters, the haters? What you got to say?
I don't even have haters. I have admirers. I don't have haters. I have admirers. If you watch me, you're an admirer. Because I don't watch anybody I don't like. I'll be honest. I don't watch anything I don't like. I don't watch Love Island. I don't rate it. You'll never catch me watching an episode of Love Island. I don't like it. But what I will say to people is that men are on the rise. there's a big contingent of men that have woke up and they know their worth and their value, and they're working on becoming better individuals for society and for themselves. And they're not going to tolerate silliness. They're not going to be played games with. They're not going to be told they're less of humans. They're not going to be felt as if they can't speak and they have an opinion. On my platform, RareTalks, men have their voice, their opinion. So all their baby mothers out there that are destroying their baby fathers on public platforms, calling them all kinds of names, if you want a place to speak, come to RareTalks. This is where you can speak. Death Row Records, just like Suge Knight said, come over to us. You know what I'm saying?
Say no